Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life at LifeView. I am your host, Dr. Veronica Garcia, and today we are joined by an awesome adjunct faculty at the university and all his role with what students are doing hands-on, the research, the development of chiropractic. Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. If you could introduce yourself, what is your role in the university? What exactly is you're doing?
Sure. My name is Dr. Parada, and I teach in Chiropractic Sciences. Lead instructor for Full Spine 1, Full Spine 2,
Gotcha.
X-ray analysis.
Ooh.
And then depending on the quarter, I could be mixed in a bunch of different technique labs and stuff.
That's awesome. So you are teaching more of that earlier on students and kind of getting into the absolute stress, but also excitement of the program. How was that experience for you?
I love having them. They're in 5th and 6th quarter, even though it is the grind quarters and that heart that they're about to quit. It's really fun being with them on that 6-9 month journey and seeing where they start to right before them walk into clinic. So I feel like I get to raise them in some way, which is fun.
That's nice. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about your role with the PAT lab. What exactly is the PAT lab? What is it that it does for the students?
Gotcha. So PAT stands for Palpation Adjusting Trainer. And what it is a model, very human-like, that has a 3D printed spine that's connected to a computer system that can give feedback to students. Are they on the right segment that they're trying to find? And then there's a force plate table that will actually measure their thrust in terms of pounds, look at different vectors, et cetera. And it's been about 20 years in the making.
Wow.
Dr. Ron Hosek, Dr. Ed Owens, and our own Dr. Brent Russell have really take on that tech research, and with the COVID pandemic, forced them to make a lot more PATs so that students could be hands-on while still being distanced. So we're very fortunate to have over 20 of these PATs at our institution, and for feedback, for teaching, adjusting, it's been phenomenal.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I've had the opportunity to kind of play a little bit with PAT during my continuing education Live Vision extravaganza here, and it was honestly mind-blowing. I think that if we would have had that experience as students, it would definitely change a lot of the things and a lot of those mistakes that we kind of experience and grow from, right? But it's beautiful that they're being addressed early on. What is the feedback from students as they're kind of going through that?
I think the feedback has been positive from the students that utilize it. So I hold an outside SI session once a week, and the 10 to 12 that consistently come in are really benefiting from it. Not only their test grades, but their adjusting skills going into clinic is at a much higher level than the average student. And that's very exciting. And to have that tool and to see students use that. That's
amazing. That's really inspiring. And talk to me a little bit about the experience of kind of coming back, teaching, just that piece of it. Yeah,
so very intimidating day one to walk into the room of all your former professors and now being one of them. So I was very fortunate that was welcomed with open arms and poured into me and trained me. And now being here 6 years kind of flies by. But I do love it. I do have the passion. I love seeing students that are engaged and wanting to get better at their adjusting skills, and it's very rewarding as a teacher. That's exciting. That's beautiful and inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
And talk to me a little bit about being a student, graduating, practicing, coming back as a staff, a faculty member, and now going back into student mode. I hear you're doing a master's degree in the positive psychology and coaching program at the university. How's that transition? How's that program going? Where are you at?
Very surreal, very kind of a whirlwind of, practice to teaching and practicing to now still doing all those things, and now going back as a student into the coaching track of positive psychology. So very early on, only 3 weeks into the program, was a definite adjustment getting back into doing assignments, writing papers, reading textbooks. So some resistance inside towards that, but now getting the hang of it, that's becoming more fluid again. Right. And the material and the opportunities that can come from this, I'm very excited for that.
That's awesome. And what's the goal? What's the goal with creating that master's?
I really would like to be one of the online coaches, whether it's going to be in health and wellness with my chiropractic background or working with CEOs or churches to just find out what their needs are and get them to the next level.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to a person that has been in more of the professional standpoint and are kind of considering going back for a master's or a doctorate degree program? What advice would you give them to get prepared to come back for a student mode?
Make sure you have good awareness of what your current schedule is and the time management of how many hours do you actually have in a day to dedicate towards the master's program. And I think that will decide the course load that you take. So even though a full quarter is 3 classes, they're 5 credit classes. And I'm putting in an extra 5 to 6 hours a day into the 3. So really make sure that you have the hours to dedicate to it, or just take 1 or 2 classes and spread the program out for yourself and your schedule.
That's awesome. So you just to be clear, kind of what I'm hearing from your schedule, your daily schedule, private practice?
Full-time here teaching.
And
wife is full-time practicing.
Okay. And master's degree.
Master's degree and a 1-year-old son on top of that.
Oh my goodness. What a beautiful journey. My hat's off to you. That's awesome. That's inspiring. And that's definitely a whole different, I guess, relationship that you can build with the students because you're also in the grind with them.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
That's awesome. What are some of those, I guess, advice that you would give now a first degree or a person that's considering the chiropractic program and are getting everything ready, getting their mindset ready to start the chiropractic program from a professor to a student? What advice would you give them?
My advice would be to shadow other chiropractors in local community or step outside your community and really get a sense of, do you see yourself doing that full-time practice? Is that where your passion is? Is that what you want to do? And you really need to hit the ground running with that passion so that when you have difficult courses, it's never going to sidestep your journey or your final goal. If you know in your heart you want to be a chiropractor and want to serve people through chiropractic, there's not a class or a test that's going to stop you eventually from doing it. But you have to have that passion to get through the program.
I definitely agree. Passion takes you a huge way during that program, especially in that 5th quarter where you're taking classes with him. That's awesome. Well, anything else that you would like to share?
No. I mean, if somebody's considering the positive psychology, I would give it a very good rating so far. If you're considering chiropractic, I'm very passionate as an alumni and a professor here that I do think Life University is the best avenue to pursue chiropractic. Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for spending a few hours of your really busy schedule with us. Absolutely. I'm very grateful to you. Appreciate it. Good luck to everybody that is going through your 5th quarter insane classes. And we hope to see you on the next episode of Living Life, A Life View. Have a nice day.
Take care.